Let's take a minute to make sure people get in here. All right, there's Brian. Hello, Brian. Can you hear me, Brian? Do me a favor, if you can hear me, post 123. Brian Lawrence, post, or anybody, post 123. Just want to make sure. But can you hear me? Can you see any video or hear me? I'm sure you can. Oh, 123, perfect. All right, here we go. All right, we're going to look at the OAKS. Race 11 tomorrow, Churchill Downs. We'll go a little slowly, make sure other people trickle in and stuff. So I guess let's go by each horse. And we'll start with the one, Pauline's Pearl, right? So what are we seeing with this one? Won a grade 3, good connections. I don't know. I don't know if this horse is good enough. Why don't we start? How about we do this? I'll look at the comments right now, and I'll ask you guys, who do you guys like in here? And then we'll start with the main contenders first. All right, look at all that 1, 2, 3. I love it. Earth to Sky. Is that a horse, or are you just messing with me? All right. You know what? Just to speed this up, why don't we go? We'll start out with the horse I know a lot of people like, and that's the 10. Excuse me if I'm saying it incorrectly. Malahat. I'll make it a little bigger. Okay, Todd Fletcher. If you bet against Todd Fletcher, you end up in a stretcher. $1 million curling horse. Real beautiful filly. I've seen this filly a few times. She's by Dreaming of Julia and Curlin. I mean, you could not get better breeding than that. Undefeated. Let's look at it deeper. Improving with each start. If you're a buyer person, or even if you're any kind of person, if you look, I mean, she won a maiden, and then she won the stakes race at Aqueduct and the Tempted, and then she won in the Slop in a grade 2, and then she barely won a grade 1. Okay, she won it only by a head, and beat Past the Champagne, who's also in the race. So let's look at Past the Champagne, the 5 horse. Okay, so the 10 beat the 5 by a head. The 10 is 5-2 on the morning line, and the 5 is 15-1 on the morning line. I mean, you can't say that the 5 doesn't have a little value at that price at 15-1, because they only lost by a head, and they were 5.5 or 5.25 lengths in front of the third horse. So here, let's look at the comments. Brent Austin is singling the 10. Jesus likes Past the Champagne, who I was just looking at before you even mentioned it. Past the Champagne is definite value in here. I mean, I like that. He's little, only ran 3 races, but God, that's a good performance to run second in the grade 1 Ashland and only her 3rd start. You could only imagine she's going to improve from here. So if she improves, and the 10 could improve too. If that race is really, really, if the Ashland, it could be a formful race, and both of these horses could run a big race. So that's a good shot. Let's see. I know some people like Crazy Beautiful. Let's look at Crazy Beautiful for a second. Beat a few horses in the race. Jose Ortiz. I don't know. I got to look at that time, and that 144 and 2. Boy, that sure doesn't make me feel good. We'll be coming off the pace too. Doesn't look like this horse has any speed. See, I love the Leon's Map. People that know me know that Leon's Map is my favorite sire, but I don't know about this one. It looks like a horse that's going to run 3rd or 4th to me. I don't know if you guys agree. Crazy Beautiful doesn't look like a winner, but it looks like a horse that could get in the exotics. It's going to be coming from too far back. I don't think she's definitely good enough. Just exotics only to me. I've heard a few people say they like Steve Asmusson's other horse in here, Clairiere. We got another horse. I mean, when I look at this horse, I see that she's done nothing wrong. 3 straight grade twos, ran well in each. She's a hard knocking filly, obviously. Um, Goes to Tyler Gaffleone from Ptolemy. I think that's a improvement. I think Gaffleone is a better jockey than Ptolemy. So, I mean, you got to look at the 3 and think that's one of the contenders as well, right? We'll look at some travel column. Travel column. Okay, let's look at some travel column. Because I know travel column is who I thought was going to be the favorite in the race. Before this race, if I would have done the morning line, I'd have travel column the favorite. But I might be wrong, and it's okay. But I really thought travel column was going to be the favorite. I mean, off that very impressive race in the Fairgrounds Oaks, and very fast time too, 142 and 3. I thought that was a pretty impressive race. Good time. I know it was a fast track that day, but was right there to Claire, and they were in the race prior to that. They were 6.5 in front of the third horse. I'm noticing something here. The 6 and the 3 came out of the same race, 2 back, and then the 10 and the 5 came out of the same race. So if one of these races could prove to be a formful race. So we'll see. Like, don't be surprised if it comes 6-3, or don't be surprised if it comes 10-5. All right, who else are we looking at in here? I heard somebody mention 14. Oh yeah, this one, Bill Mott. Boy, is his barn doing well right now. Rosario's doing well, like always. But you never know with Rosario. You know how he gets. He gave me a really bad ride the other day. Really bad ride. I was yelling at the screen, almost breaking it. He's made me make a few loud gestures before, Rosario. When he's on, there's nobody better, but sometimes he gives rides that makes you want to, do something to yourself. Anyway, this one lost to Crazy Beautiful last time. And prior to that, well, you know what? 3 back, ran a close race to the 10. The favorite got good works. Third race off to the layoff. Hmm. Interesting horse here. Wouldn't shock me. Would it shock anybody if the 14 won this race? I don't think you're going to get 20 to 1, though. Am I right on that? Let's look at the comments. The 12 and 14, 12 and 14, 12-6 exacta box. All right, let's look at the 12. A lot of people are talking about the 12. Search results. Another major contender, Chad Brown. We all know about him. Irad. He's the darling of the jockey colony right now. Irad. Everybody loves Irad, including me. Including everybody. So search results. Broke its maiden in extremely impressive fashion. I actually remember that race. Extremely impressive. And then came back, won the Busher, going a mile in 139. Real slow track that day. Let's not hold it against him. Beat Miss Brazil that day, who came back and won. And then beat Maracua last time in a grade 3. So stepping up the ladder. Now it's going to run in its first grade 1. And has Chad Brown and Irad. Chad Brown and Irad already makes it an obvious contender, right? So the only question I have with the 12, the only question I really have with the 12 is the level of competition it's faced. I mean, let's look at Maracua. Where is Maracua, the 2? So this is the horse that search results beat last time. A horse that just broke its maiden. That was 18 to 1. It might have been a bad race. I don't know. I think it might be asking too much for the 12 to win this race, considering the odds are going to be deflated because IRAD's on it and Chad Brown. So whenever you have these connections, the horse is going to be 2 or 3 levels lower odds than it should be. In my opinion, this horse should be 5, 6 to 1 search results. If it had a regular, I mean, if it had, let's say, Gaffleone was the jockey and Mike Maker was the trainer, let's just say. I think the 12 would be maybe 7, would definitely be 4 to 1 or higher, for sure. It could even be 5 to 1, possibly even 6 to 1. So that's my thoughts on that. So I think the 12 is obviously a contender, but might be asking too much. Might be asking too much. Now let's look at the comments. John Callia mentions only horse that's been the distance. That's true. So she likes the distance. My thing on that is I don't think horses bred by Tappet, Frosted, um, and horses like bred by Curlin, like Malathot, and horses other the 3 horse bred by Curlin. When I see the breeding, it makes me think a 1.125 should be no problem. Especially Travel Column. I mean, not Travel Column, the 10. Dreaming of Julia Curlin. I mean, that just screams that a 1.125 should be absolutely no problem. And wait, the 10 did win in a 1.125. So that horse did win at the distance. So the 10 and the 12 both won at this distance. So that gives them that edge if you are a believer in that. But I don't think Travel Column's going to have any problem being bred by Frosted and the Tappet on the father side. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Um, it could be though. I mean, you're right. It's a race where, or it's a distance you never ran at. But considering the breeding, I don't think it's going to be a problem. That's true. Chad is not a sure thing on the dirt. Good observation, Yvonne. And I hope I'm saying your name right, Yvonne or Ivan. It depends how you want to have it pronounced. Ricky Robbins says he likes the 5 past the champagne. That's going to be major value. Major value. I don't think 15 to 1 is going to be the odds. I'm going to guess something like 9 to 1, maybe. I don't know. Whatever you guys think. But look at Brian. Good mention there too about big races outside of New York. That's really good. Now I guess we'll go over a couple of the other horses since nobody's mentioned any other horses. The 7 Ava's Grace. I mean, it looks like it's going to take an act of God to get this horse to win. I mean, it looks like thunder and lightning would have to come out of nowhere to get this horse to win. But you never know. I mean, couldn't win the grade 3, couldn't win the grade 2, couldn't even win optional claim or 2 back. I mean, the only thing I see, I mean, Diodoro, maybe he's going to put some medicine into this horse, give it some good juice. I don't know. That's the only thing I see on that horse. The 8 horse is a West Coast horse. I remember when this horse broke its maiden, the second time out, I put it on my horse to watch list thinking, hey, maybe this is McCarthy's big horse. Then he ran kind of disappointing, or she ran disappointing in the Virginus, then ran in the Isabel and ran a pretty good race, and then ran in the Sanity Oaks and was no match for the front 2. Starting to wonder the quality of this horse, starting to think. I do think she will, being bred by Empire Maker, she's going to love the distance. Could get up, could stick around more, say, because I don't think this horse is going to get a clear lead or anything. So that's what I'm saying. Could stick around for 4th for a superfecta. The 9 horse Luis Saez, first time Saez is always a factor to me, but I'm not seeing too much of a reason to bet this one. Hasn't won a race since October of last year against lesser fields, lesser horses. Has gotten beat by everything in the race, so completely throw that horse out with abandon. Then you got the 11, who ran 5.5 lengths away from the 5 and the 10. And before that, beat Pauline and beat Coach. Ran a good race 3 back in the mud. I'm just going to say I'm not trying to be lazy handicapping here, but I think the 11 looks like a horse that could maybe hit the board but not win. Because this is a pretty good field. In my opinion, this is a good field of fillies. There's a lot of quality in this race. I think the five, the three, the five, the six, um, and even the one has some quality. Look, grade three winner. You know, you got a grade three winner, grade three placed, grade two winner, grade two winner, grade one by a head, uh, multiple grade two winner here. So quality, you got the 12. So this is a quality field. So these long shots are really have it. You know, I mean, they'll have to really improve and show something they've never shown before to be able to beat the likes of search results and Model of Thought and the three and so forth. So that's our thoughts on the Kentucky Oaks. We're going to move on to the Kentucky Derby. I hope you got your mint juleps ready and everybody's enjoying all that. That all the festivities prior to the Derby. I always think it's just one friggin' race out of a 10,000 that we'll all watch and bet. But you know, I do like the big pools. I do like the big pools. I mean, it's fun, but I just wish people like non-fans, people that don't normally follow the sport, would have other races they'd get into because there's a lot of fun. Breeders' Cup's fun, and you know all the classics like Pacific Classic at Del Mar and the Jockey Gold Cup back east, and the Whitney. I mean, there's just so many good races. So I just wish people would, you know, focus more on those, or more on those as well. All right. So Churchill Downs. Who should we look at first? We're gonna go number. I mean, we could start with the one. Okay, I'll start with the one, and then I'll look at comments in about a minute. So the number one, everybody's been talking about. I mean, I've been reading so much information. I mean, so many comments and so forth on known agenda. All I hear is it's got the rail and it's dead and all that. I don't think the rail's going to kill this horse. Not this horse. It's not a dead speed horse. It's not a horse that is dependent on being, you know, within 5, 6 lengths of the lead. I think you could even break slow a little bit and still um, be able to have a chance to run in this race. I don't think the one has to break on top like you would before. I mean, if you have a speed horse, then it would be almost, you know, be devastating. But I think Known Agenda could break slow, a little slow. I'm not saying like dead last, but not have the cleanest break and still be able to win the race. So I'm going to look at the the comments. Let's see. Highly motivated. Don't like the one post. I don't like it either, but I don't hate it as much. Especially Irad too. Irad will definitely. Um, he's definitely a jockey that could overcome that. I think you know. I think there's a lot of jockeys that could overcome the rail. You know, I think Pratt would be a good jockey for the rail, and Rispoli. I even think Saez could do it too. He's smart. I think a lot of jockeys, you know, can handle the rail. Obviously, really, if you want my opinion, I'd have Calvin Burrell ride this horse. I mean, if I couldn't get Irad, you know, because he loves the rail. But nonetheless, we got Known Agenda, Grade One animal, won the Florida Derby, very impressive. He did bump into the soup and sandwich and and Irad almost elbowed the guy off the horse. They didn't call any inquiry or all that. I don't think it was warranted, none mostly because Known Agenda, you know, pulled away. So, but nonetheless, I think that is a little understated. The fact that Known Agenda, you know, plowed right into Soup and Sandwich, kind of got him off stride. And I think Soup and Sandwich showed a lot of grit to be able to, you know, withstand that and still run a good, you know, fast time and fast race and be right there and clear and run a clear second. So let's look at the comments again. Okay, we got Bo Rail. Yeah, Bo Rail. Who does somebody like here? Highly motivated. All right, let's look at highly motivated. I feel like I haven't looked at this horse that enough. In a way, I think highly motivated is kind of the forgotten horse in this race. Now look at this. Lost by a neck to Essential Quality. Essential Quality is going to be 8-5 because of the crazy Texan that's going to bet 2 million. Matrix Max, who seems like a wonderful gentleman, but he's crazy as hell to bet 2 million on a four-legged animal. Come on. Nonetheless, just lost to Essential Quality. I don't think that was Essential Quality's best race, in my personal opinion. But that's that. Um, I think Essential Quality will move forward off the bluegrass, and I think Essential Quality had a little bit of dirt in the eye, and uh, it's kind of a tough trip. I mean, not the perfect trip that he usually gets. So they were 5.5 in front of the third horse. Okay, if you look at highly motivated, prior to that, ran in the Grade 3 Gotham, bobbled at the start, was right there. Prior to that, ran in the Nyquist, won for fun as the favorite. Beat Known Agenda in its second race in a maiden. That's going to be another. You know how some of these maiden races turn into be crazy formful. Like the one with Arrowgate and American Pharaoh, I believe. I think look at that maiden race. When you were betting that race, did you have any idea? Highly motivated, Known Agenda, two major contenders on the Kentucky Derby, were going to run 1-2 in a maiden race on a random September. Who knew that? But nonetheless, forgotten horse. I don't think a lot of people are really looking into this horse. I don't see a lot of people saying they like this horse to win. I think this horse is a good horse to put in your exotics. In my opinion, this is why. I think it'll be forwardly placed. And I kind of like horses that are not too far back. I think Castellano will have this horse like sixth, seventh, maybe 3 lengths off the lead, possibly closer, depending on how the race, develops. And I think highly motivated seems like a horse that's got game too. If you look at him, he's got fight, and he's fought in every race. So I don't see him necessarily, throwing in the bit, throwing in the towel. He might stick around for third or fourth. That's my thought on highly motivated, who's a definite exotic horse. I'm definitely putting exactas too. I'm definitely going to put him in my exacta. You're going to get a good price, much better price than Essential Quality. So there you go with that. All right. And let's see, what do we got here? 14, 15, 7. 15, 7, Art Ramirez. And more room with the gate. Yeah, that's true. All right, what do we got? A lot of comments here. Hi, Teresa. All his way in the bluegrass and couldn't win. More speed. Ivan makes a good point. He did get all his way in the bluegrass, couldn't win. Did get beat by a good horse, though. But I like that thought. All right, so who are we going to look at next? Sainthood. All right, Philip once was mentioning Sainthood. Now, is this a long shot that we need to look at more? Fletcher, what do we do here? Won a turf or ran second at Turfway last time on a synthetic. I mean, the only dirt race it's ever won was a maiden race by a nose. It's only its fourth start. Never ran as a 2-year-old. You know what, Philip? I'm going to do a major pass on this horse. And I think this is a major contender for a horse to run dead last or in the bottom 5. Just my opinion. Um, I don't see anything that warrants. Except look at this comment here. Hold on. Look at the comment. It says problematic trip. I might have to watch that replay because that's a rare comment. Problematic trip. That's funny. Never seen that before. Let's go back to the comments and see what people are saying. Obesos? Oh, Obesos. I thought you were saying something about asbestos, like those commercials that you see on TVG where they want to sue. where the lawyers want to get 300 part of that 300 billion that was set aside. I wish I could get some of that money. Anyway, let's see, Medina Spirit. Let's look at Medina Spirit. I want to look at Medina Spirit. And who was the fine gentleman that wanted to look at? Yeah, Andy Enriquez. What's up, Andy? Andy Enriquez. He wants to look at Medina Spirit. All right. I was thinking about Medina Spirit, and hold on, people are messaging me while I'm doing this. Can't have that. All right. Nonetheless, I was thinking about Medina Spirit today, and I was thinking this horse is a good. I'm gonna do a trifecta. Key in this horse third. I think Medina Spirit's gonna run third. That's my crazy um, proclamation. Is Medina Spirit runs third, maybe fourth. I'm definitely putting Medina Spirit in all my exotics. I don't think Medina Spirit's going to win, but I really do think Medina Spirit's going to hit the board or be there. Medina Spirit has beaten Hot Rod Charlie, who I think is a major, major contender. Ran second to Life is Good, who's a freak of nature, right? And then ran second to Rock Your World last time. I think Bob Baffert, this is not Baffert's best horse. It wasn't his A horse. It's sort of like a B horse. But this horse, if you look, he's a kind of a fighter, you know? And he's, you know, if Rock Your World's race was really legit, I think Medina Spirit could hit the board. That's my thought, and I'm sticking to it. Medina Spirit is going to run third or fourth. Let's see who else we're. All right. Keep me in mind from the lovely Jessica Friesen. Keep me in mind. Now, I'm going to say this about keep me in mind. And keep this in mind. Pun intended. Some sharp people I know, some very, very sharp people I know who do very well, like this horse for superfecta reasons. They're going to put this horse third and fourth in their superfectas and trifectas. And they're very, very confident that this horse is going to find its way up. If you look at this horse, it's funny because the first three horses we're really looking at, well, other than Sainthood, I'm talking exotic probabilities, and I'm looking closer at this horse, and I think this horse is a good exotic probability. This horse looks like a horse that'll pick up the pieces, right? Jessica, are you thinking that same thing? I'm gonna look at the comments soon, but this horse is gonna pick up the pieces. It's gonna be far back, from the pace, and other horses are gonna, dissipate and quit and throw in the towel and all that. And this horse will probably pass those horses. That's kind of his style. Look, he's far back and he passes a lot of tired horses. Now, he's not going to, like the race at Churchill, the Kentucky race, or the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. That's kind of what he did in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and I'm expecting a similar trip in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He's going to be far back and he's going to pick up pieces late. Probably not going to win, but I think he's going to pick up pieces late and a definite exotic. Um, yeah, we did look at highly motivated. I'll do a brief thing about highly motivated again. Um, you're going to get a good price. I think it's an exotic probability. My personal opinion. I don't think this horse is going to win, but I do think he's got a lot of fight, a lot of grit, and he could find himself, sticking around for the superfecta trifecta. The three of the first four horses I mentioned are exotic possibilities: highly motivated, and Medina Spirit, and or three of the five, because we did talk known agenda. We'll probably get back to known agenda though, and keep it in mind. I think all three of these horses have to be used in the superfecta. I wouldn't be surprised if one or two of these three long shots ended up in the superfecta. So that's what my thoughts are on that. Let's see, who do we got? King Fury from my man Leo. I like your posts, Leo. I'm glad to see you here. You're one of my favorites. And we're going to look at Obesos too, because I know somebody mentioned Obesos. But let's go to Obesos later. King Fury. This is the horse that nobody's talking about, in my personal opinion. I mean, I know a lot of racetrack people. I read a lot of stuff. I feel like King Fury is the horse nobody's talking about. I don't hear anybody talking about this horse, other than my man Leo right now. I read Twitter, I read Facebook, I read a lot of chat rooms. I don't see nobody talking about this horse. Maybe it's just me, but I don't see anybody talking about this horse. And I've always said the horse that nobody talks about, just like last year, was that Big News horse, Mr. Big News. Nobody was talking about that horse prior to the race. I always say sometimes you got to worry about those horses because it's like nobody's thinking about them. And a lot of times, can you think back in derbies where, damn, that horse I didn't even think about, and he was in the trifecta and the exacta or in the superfecta. I wasn't even thinking about that horse. So a lot of times that'll happen. But let's look at King Fury. One thing I like about King Fury is second race off the layoff. That looks really good. I bet King Fury would have loved if the rain was gonna stick around for another 2 days, because he ran really good in the slot in the Lexington. He needed. He ran really good in the Lexington. Ran good in the street sense. 3-4 back, beating Superstock, who ended up winning the Arkansas Derby. And prior to that, won its maiden. So I'm noticing. Let's see, good race, bad race, good race, bad race, average race, good race. I don't know if that's a trend or something, but um, that race second where he ran the second career race where he ran in a grade one probably was too soon, and that was a really good field of horses, but he didn't do anything in that race, and that scares me. Um, Bred good, Curlin, bred to go the distance. I do like that this is a track specialist with 2 wins on the track. I know a lot of horses don't like Churchill Downs. I mean, not a lot of horses, but I mean, there's a good ratio of horses that, don't really take to Churchill Downs. So you don't have to worry about this horse. Um, I don't think this horse is a win candidate. I don't think many do. And I wouldn't be surprised if the odds are even higher than 20-1 on this one. King Fury, I mean, if this horse won, I'd be very surprised. If he hit the board, I'd be slightly surprised. So that's my thoughts. Let's go to another horse. I don't want to bore you guys anymore. Soup and Sandwich Midnight Bourbon. Oh, look at that. Ivan said King Fury looked great, but I expect the bounces coming second off the layoff. Very likely. Very likely. I usually like second off the layoff, but in this particular situation, you might be right. It might not be the ideal um, situation. John Callier, yeah, moved up on a sloppy track. That's true. Horse probably would have loved the rain if it stayed, but it's not. We're gonna get to Rock Your World, Frank. Don't worry about that. Oh, Obesos. Let's go to Obesos. All right, Obesos. This is a wise guy's horse, wise girl's horse too. So the wise guys and girls horse, wise guys and wise girls like this horse. And let's look why. All right, this is another horse similar to Keep Me in Mind. Pick up the pieces. I remember seeing this horse last time in the Louisiana Derby. Ran against Hot Rod Charlie, was 5 wide on the first turn, didn't get the best of trips, and only lost by 2 lengths to Hot Rod Charlie. I do think Hot Rod Charlie was pulling away at the end. I do think Hot Rod Charlie is a very good horse. And I do think that, I mean, since we're talking about Obesos, we might as well talk about Midnight Bourbon too. Midnight Bourbon's got the very good jockey on him. Very good jockey. Nonetheless, we're sticking on Obesos here. Obesos ran a really good, I think the Louisiana Derby is going to be proven to be a solid race. I think this race is good. Some people don't like it. I like the Louisiana Derby. They ran a good time. They ran a mile and 3/16, which, you got to consider that. Um, and I think this was a quality field of horses. Obesos. Prior to that, ran fourth, lost to Midnight Bourbon again, lost to Mandalore again, and got beat by. So if you look at this horse, he's gotten defeated by 3 separate horses in the race. So right there's a red flag for chances to win. But this horse does look like a horse that picks up the pieces. So like I said, I'm going to look at this horse more for fourth, fifth, sixth. I think a second place finish would be surprising. I think a weird third place finish might happen. A weird would be like a bunch of horses don't fire and the race falls apart. Um, he might run third, but for my personal opinion, I don't think Obesos is going to win the race. I don't think he's going to run second or third. Could run fourth. See him more in the fourth, sixth kind of area. So that's my thoughts on that. So we might as well look at Midnight Bourbon with Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. That's right, Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith on Midnight Bourbon. This horse showed some fight against Hot Rod Charlie. I think Hot Rod Charlie is a very good horse. Like I said, this one showed a lot of fight. Has some speed. We're gonna expect this horse to, especially with Mike Smith, he don't care. He just takes the horse out as fast as he can and hopes for the best. So I expect Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith to be on the lead or be very close to it. And I don't know if he could hold on when the real contenders start coming. When Elusive Quality and Rock Your World and Hot Rod Charlie, who beat him last time and was pulling away at the end. Um, and horses like that, when the real competition comes, can he hold them off? That's my thought. Now again, Midnight Bourbon is going to be a forwardly placed horse, so that means he'll be up there, and if he could avoid trouble and other horses have bad trips, stuff happens, maybe he could stick around for third or fourth. But my thought is that this horse is probably not good enough to beat the A horses in the race. Might be good to stick around and hold off the B horses. That's my thought. Also, with Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith, he's probably going to have this horse go too fast early. In my personal opinion, Mike Smith is not the best at rating horses. He likes to take them out fast. So I'm not expecting this horse to go reasonable fractions. So, in my personal opinion, I think Midnight Bourbon will be off the board because of the likely going too fast early and being not in the A caliber of horses. So let's look at some comments. Hey, Frank. All right. So we look, okay, Midnight is an honest horse, but needs to step up. Yeah, I agree. And Mike's stiff. Yeah. MB always hits the board. That's true. But, there's 20 horses in this race. And, like a seventh place finish is not a bad finish, really. If you run seventh in the Derby, that means you defeated 13 horses in the race. That's kind of what I see with Midnight Bourbon. Um, let's go to Soup and Sandwich, who I have a very strong opinion on. I think this is a really good horse, but I'm going by eyes mostly. I've looked at this horse's 3 races. I'm very impressed with this horse. He won his maiden race against Florida Breds like a monster. Geared down, just toyed with that field. Then he ran in an optional claimer at Tampa, won easy. Very impressive. If you look at the videotape, very impressive. You can tell this horse has some quality to her. Then ran in the Florida Derby in only its 3rd start, ran a bang up race, in my opinion. And I'm saying that with all pun intended, because Known Agenda And Irad Ortiz came and plowed right into Soup and Sandwich, and it looked like Irad was elbowing uh, Johnny Velasquez. It looked like he was elbowing him, but I'm sure he wasn't, but it kind of appeared that way. He just plowed right in. Soup and Sandwich got plowed into by a horse that's like thundering down the stretch. Known Agenda had like a supersonic burst of a run and plowed, and in the middle of that supersonic burst, plowed right into Soup and Sandwich. Soup and Sandwich still um, stuck around for second. Was only beaten 2 3/4 lengths. I think that's key. The burst that Known Agenda made looked like the horse was probably going to win by 7 lengths the way he was rolling. But Soup and Sandwich showed some grit in only its third start. In only his third start, this horse is only going to improve into Mischief. Tap It Sire Dam. I don't. Mile and a Quarter is accessible in my opinion. This is a really good horse in my opinion. I'm not sure Soup and Sandwich could win. I wouldn't be surprised if Super Sandwich ran 15th, to be honest. He's going to be close to the lead and do the best he can. That 19th post is not ideal, in my opinion. He's going to be battling with Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith on the 10 and other front runners in the race. Now, if he could get a good trip and avoid all problems, and the Derby is full of ifs, I think Super Sandwich could run a bang up race. I really do. I think Super Sandwich could run a very, very good race. I have future bets on this horse at 40 to 1, and I'm happy with that bet because I give Soup and Sandwich more than a 2% chance of winning this race. So I think Super Sandwich is a long shot possibility, but he probably won't win, as we know. But I think he could show a bang up race. And I want to be down, I want to be put down as saying Super Sandwich is going to have a very good career and it maybe have a career similar to, um, oh, Shackelford. I think Super Sandwich will have a similar career to Shackelford. Put me down for that. Now, let's see, who else are we talking about here? Who else? Hidden Stash. Hidden Stash, another horse I don't hear a lot of people talking about. Bejarano in a really big race. That always concerns me. He has had so many chances in big races, and every time it seems like he gave a bad ride or just choked. I until Bejarano wins a huge race, I I can't bet him. Nonetheless, it took him 3 times to break his maiden, and then he won on the track in an optional claimer, going 144. Then he had some time off and went to Tampa, ran third in the Davis, then ran a close second in the Tampa Derby, and then ran against Central Quality and Highly Motivated and ran awful. Well, 10 lengths back. Maybe not awful, but not close. Um, Constitution's a good sire. I don't think this horse is going to win this race. I don't think this horse is going to hit the board either. You got to take a stand because think about it. If you're betting superfectas, whatever, there's going to be 16 horses that's not going to hit the board. So you can't say you like everybody. I mean, since we're looking at the 13, might as well look at the 12 who ran against the 13 two back in the Tampa Bay Derby and lost by 3/4 of a length. Or the 13th lost to the 12. So unless that race is extremely formful, I don't see either horse um, performing successfully in this race. Helium never done anything wrong, but I mean, who are those horses he beat at Woodbine? I'm not too sure who those horses are. Gospel Way, Decimator, Lenny K. I mean, are these horses that could even mess with essential quality? No, I don't think so. So I got to throw these horses out. Also, only time, only third career start. I don't like that. I like a horse with a little more fight. I mean, a little more experience usually. I know Super Sandwich is the exception, but I like a horse with a little more experience. So I'd throw out both 12 and 13. I don't think either horse has any chance of doing anything major. So let's see who we got. Soup and Sandwich has no shot, probably, but I 40 to 1. I got to be happy with that. I think Super Sandwich is on the improve. I agree, John Collier. I agree. Going to get wide, very likely. When I saw the post, I did not like the 19 post. I was very, very upset to see that. All right, okay, here we go. Winston Wolfe. Pulp Fiction. One of my top 3 movies of all time. Love that movie. Winston Wolfe. All right, we're gonna go to Hot Rod Charlie right now, and I have future bets on this horse at 11.2 to 1 at bookmaker. I bet this horse. I saw 11 to 1, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think this horse is going to be 11 to 1 in the Derby. And I was like, I weighed the options, and I'm like, well, I'll lose this extra odds if the horse gets injured or scratched prior to the race. But I'm like, it'll make a. I think if you're going to get like 3 or 4 clicks higher than what you're going to get on Derby Day, I think it's worth it because I'm thinking Hot Rod Charlie's going to be like 7 to 1, maybe 6 to 1, and I got 11.2 to 1. If he, God forbid, he runs, which I hope he does. Um, so I like Hot Rod Charlie. Let me tell you why. I was very impressed with his last race. I think, like I said, the Louisiana Derby was a very. I think it's going to be a key race. I mean, I think it's a quality race, even though I don't think. I think Midnight Bourbon's a good horse. Obeso's a good horse, but not for this particular day. I think they're going to be good horses, have good careers, but I don't think the race really sets up for either of them. But Hot Rod Charlie, I think the race sets up for him. And if you look at Hot Rod Charlie, he's very versatile. I know he took a long time to break his maiden, and he broke his maiden October 2nd at Santa Anita. But then he ran to the juvenile right after that, 94 to 1. Ran his eyeballs out, ran his damn eyeballs out, and almost beat Essential Quality. Was ahead of Keep Me in Mind. Then ran in the Robert Lewis against Medina Spirit and almost won the race after having extreme trouble. Stumbled, bumped. It was kind of a wet track that day. It was a weird track. I don't think he liked the track. Then he ran in the Louisiana Derby. And visually, what I saw is a horse that pulled away at the end and will have no trouble running 1.25 miles, which is not that farther than 1 3/16 miles. Doug O'Neill's the trainer. Doug O'Neill Doug O'Neill has won this race 2 other times. He's a fantastic, masterful trainer. Trust me, I know his operation well. I know people that work for him. He is a very good trainer. Don't look at the 14% and judge. He's a very cagey trainer. He will put horses in at 40 to 1, take chances. I guarantee you he makes his owners money. He doesn't go for the percentage, he goes for the money. Doug O'Neill is a very good trainer. Doug O'Neill knows how to prepare a horse to win a Kentucky Derby. This horse is a major contender. Hot Rod Charlie is a very good horse. If you look at his resume, winner of the Louisiana Derby, second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. That alone makes you a contender, doesn't it? The versatility makes Hot Rod Charlie a contender. Hot Rod Charlie doesn't need to be on the lead. Hot Rod Charlie could be first or seventh. He doesn't need the lead. If you look, he could close, he could pass horses, and he could hold off horses. 2 factors that you can't say about a lot of other horses again. Flavian Prat's the jockey. We know he doesn't get too nervous. He gave Country Song a good ride, Country House a good ride. He's 29 years old or 28 years old. He knows what he's doing. One of the top 5 to 6 jockeys in the country, no doubt about it. Even on dirt, this horse is a major contender. I would not be surprised if Hot Rod Charlie has the roses over him. I really think that. Let's look at some comments. Remember Authentic? Yeah, I remember Authentic. Essential Quality. We're going to get there. Hidden Stash. Yeah, throw out Hidden Stash. Throw out Hidden Stash. Hidden Stash going to run dead last. There we go. RHC has a big shot to win. See, Peter Corona, I like him. Peter Corona's no nonsense. He ain't going to, sugarcoat things. That's why I like Peter Corona. Yeah, he's got a big shot to win. He's right. I like the time off for Hot Rod Charlie. I definitely do too. Definitely a major player. Drug O'Neill. That's not nice, man. He's a good trainer. Trust me. He ain't about that. His horses are treated well. I think that's an unfair statement. What 11? We talked about 11, didn't we, Darren? Oh no, we didn't talk about 11. I don't know why. Good. Okay, let's talk about 11. Dynamic One broke its maiden a month ago. All right, let's talk about someone else. No, I'm just playing. Um, oh boy, what do you do with this one? Um, Dynamic One broke its maiden literally a month and 3 weeks ago. Prior to that, took a few times, ran in the Wood Memorial, which I personally think the Wood Memorial was going to be an awful addition. I don't like any horse in that race. Maybe I'm jinxing it, but I don't like Bourbonic and I don't like Dynamic One. I don't think that race is going to prove key at all. I know Fletcher will put you in a stretcher if you bet against him, but I think in this race that's not going to happen. Um, I like Jose Ortiz. Obviously, he's a good, jockey and he's capable. But I don't see anything. I mean, I don't like that Wood Memorial race. That's all I could say. I mean, maybe you like it. I mean, if you do, then you're going to get very good odds on those horses that come out of that race. The other horse is Bourbonic. Let's talk about him for a second. Um, Todd Fletcher's other horse. So Todd Fletcher ran 1-2 in there. Now, one thing I respect about this horse, and I respect any horse that closes on a slow pace. You have to appreciate that. It's not easy to close on a slow pace, no matter what the dynamics of the race are. I mean, you could have, uh, a lightly raced claimer go out there in very slow fractions and have a stakes horse, have to make up, 10 lengths. That won't be easy if they're going slow fractions, no matter how the situation is. So I do give Bourbonic a lot of credit for that. I think the 20 post probably won't be too problematic. Carmouche, um, I don't know much about him in big races. I can't recall him winning many races, but he seems like I've seen him in interviews. He seems like a guy who doesn't get overly excited, and you know, so I don't see him as a negative at all. But I don't think that Wood Memorial was a good race. That's all. I just thought, even before I handicapped that race on April 3rd, I was like, God, this is kind of a bad field for a grade two. I don't know. A lot of people, or if you're old like me, the Wood Memorial used to be a very prestigious uh, race. It used to, like, 20 years ago and prior to that, very prestigious race. I think it's been like 14 years or so that a horse has come out of the Wood Memorial to win. And it's just they never win. I mean, I see it every year. Horses coming out of the Wood Memorial, they just run up the track. They don't even get close. So I think this year's edition was as bad as any other edition. So that's what I'm gonna say about those two horses, Bonic and the other one that we were talking about. All right, let's go Dynamic One. Let's see, Dynamic One. see. Dynamic one is out working. IRAD, would you put 20 in the exactor? No, I would not put 20 in the exactor. I wouldn't put 20 in the trifecta either. I don't think the 20 is going to be doing anything. Todd Siegel likes Known Agenda. Obviously, a major contender, but maybe the rail could hurt him. Maybe something else happened. I was first. I think Known Agenda is a horse that could win. I think he'll be over bet. He'll be probably 7-1 or so. I kind of think he should be 10-1. Real. I mean, if you're talking about value, you got to think about the value of the situation. You should really bet odds more than horses. Because if Known Agenda was 5-2, would you bet it? No. If Known Agenda is up there at 6-1, I don't really think that's value at all because there's some obstacles. There's multiple other horses in here that could win the race. So that's my thoughts on that. Who are we going to talk about next? Let's see. Anyone doing any group tickets? Yeah, people are doing some group tickets. Todd Siegel, no, the track's not going to be a mud pit. Everything I'm reading says that the track's going to be fast and it'll be fine. Let's look at Like the King. Should we look at Like the King real quick? I heard some people talking about Like the King. Ran in that Sainthood race for JR Stakes. Prior to that, ran in the Battaglia, ran second. Prior to that, won an optional claimer. I was impressed with Like the King's last race. I remember that race because I bet him. But I just don't think that race is going to prove to be a formful race. I don't think horses are going to come out of the race and win. I don't like the two post either, so I'm throwing this horse out. Brooklyn Strong. It's good to see Rispoli get a mount. Very capable jockey. He came out of that Wood Memorial and was very tired. Ran fifth in the Wood Memorial, a race that I don't like anybody. So I think Brooklyn Strong is an extreme contender to run dead last. But all he's done is win on the slop. He beat Known Agenda 2 back and the Remsen, but that was on the slop. Um, Prior to that, he won a couple of state New York races. New York bred. I don't mean to put down New York breds because we've had Tis the Law and Funny Side a few years ago, but I don't think this is this horse is the caliber of those kind of horses. Um, I hate to hold it against him, but only 5,000 they paid for this horse. I mean, that wonderful buy, but still, Brooklyn Strong is not a horse I'm looking at. Let's see if there's any comments. Like the King, Vince, long shots. Triples are the best value. Yeah, I do. I agree with pick threes. I'm going to be doing some pick threes for sure. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be, you know, seriously, I'm going to be so focused. I got so many notes with me right now, reminders and everything, because I want to get down on those money back specials. I want to get down on all the promos. I want to do, group bets with friends and just, I got to stay focused that day. I'll need a chart or something to, be fully focused because it's a money making day. Definitely big pools, full fields. It's good chance of making money. It's not a bad idea. Well, since we're on this horse, why don't we look at Mandaloon? Mandaloon is a horse who I think is a really good horse. I do. He was a beaten favorite in the Louisiana Derby last time. I don't know what happened. I don't know the particulars, but if you throw that race out, Mandaloon would probably be 6-1 in here if he would have ran a good race, or 8-1, or maybe 10-1. Instead, he's probably going to be 20-1. But prior to that, he beat Midnight Bourbon, and Midnight Bourbon beat him. So if I had to look at Mandaloon right now, I would think this is a horse that is probably Not good enough to beat the A horses, but a horse that maybe could hit the board, find its way, third or fourth. Um, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing with this horse. I will definitely put this horse for fourth. Definitely think Mandalore is a fourth possibility. I might add him for third, but that's my thoughts on that. I think we've went over all the horses other than the two major contenders here. Now let's take some time. I'm going to read some comments, and then I'm going to take some time on these two horses, and then we're going to quit. Let's see, Oaks Derby. I think the Oaks Derby is a the 2 million on essential quality. Um, it's good for the game. I mean, that 2 million might go to us because we're going to get better odds on other horses. Midnight Bourbon automatic toss because of Hall of Fame trainer Mike. Yes, yeah, because of Hall of Fame trainer Mike or jockey Mike Smith. So I don't think he's going to rate the horse well. He's going to take the horse out and hope for the best and be on the lead, and I think that's a reason why Hugo. But back to you, Michael. I do think if you want to beat essential quality, then you're going to get a better odds on your horse, and so anybody betting essential quality is going to be getting lesser odds than they would have. So instead of 2-1, they're going to get like 7-5 or whatever. Yeah, I could do a quick breakdown of the undercard if you want, Andy. But I think that essential quality, if you're looking to bet against essential quality, then it's a wonderful thing what Mattress Max is doing. But if you're betting on him, then it's going to mess you up. So let's look at these two horses. Let's start with essential quality since we're already talking about him. Bred by Tappet, so mile and a quarter probably not a problem. Um, got Luis Saez, who I absolutely adore. This horse is undefeated, and my dad always said, got to respect an undefeated horse. My dad always said that. He was a very good handicapper. And I always have that on my mind. You got to respect a horse that's undefeated. I don't care if it's 2 for 2, 3 for 3. It is not easy to win race after race after race. You got to have soundness. You got to have a little bit of luck. You got to have um, ability. Obviously, it's not just There's a lot of horses out there that are very. They have a lot of ability, but they're not very sound or very healthy. So this horse to win 5 in a row is extremely Godolphin. Um, it is what it is. I mean, let's see, he beat Hot Rod Charlie in the juvenile last year. Hot Rod Charlie was 97-1. He beat Keep Me in Mind in Super Stock. Um, he beat Highly Motivated by a neck, and he's beaten everybody in front of him. He's beaten multiple horses in this race. So the question with Essential Quality is this: do you think Essential Quality is going to move forward at all? Because if you think Essential Quality is going to move forward, then he's very likely going to be in the exacta or win the race. If you think he's going to move backwards, which some people think, then and also the fact that Mattress Max bet in 2 million, you're going to get value on your other horses in here. So that's what we got to think: is Essential Quality that good? He did beat Hot Rod Charlie 3/4 of a length and Highly Motivated by a neck. Those are short margins. Now, keep in mind, Essential Quality is going to be the favorite. You're going to be getting 7-5, 8-5 on this horse, which means if you're getting 8-5, that means this horse has to win. You have to give this horse over a 38% chance of winning this race. Do you give Essential Quality a 40% chance of winning this race? Ask yourself that. This is the Derby. There's 20 horses, crazy field, you gate, all the antics, the screaming fans, all that. You have to ask yourself that. Do you want that? Now, the favorites have been doing very well in the Derby lately. So there's also that. So if you want value, you don't really, I don't think, maybe Essential Quality is valued. Maybe you give Essential Quality a 50% chance of winning this race. Essential quality kind of speaks for itself. Undefeated, great horse, multiple grade one winner, already has a resume. No knocks on this horse. Doesn't need the lead, can close. So the horse is a fighter, has a great jockey, obvious contender. Essential quality is an obvious contender. But can he? But will you get the value? That's the question. So we're going to look at Rock Your World right now. 3 career starts on Rock Your World. This horse is extremely popular. I know a lot of people that love this horse. A lot of sharp people, a lot of newbies. Um, my mom likes Rock Your World. My aunt likes Rock Your World. I know a lot of people that like Rock Your World. Now, is Rock Your World going to rock your world on Saturday? I'm not sure. I don't know what you're going to get from this horse. I've said in other, in other settings or discussing this race, I think Rock Your World could win this race by 3 lengths, or could run um, 15th or worse. Neither would surprise me. Rock Your World's a very lightly raced horse. He's only ran 3 times. I don't really want to hold that against him, but I don't know. He's ran against 12 horses, 5 horses, 9 horses. Now he's going to go against 20 horses. And he ran in the Santa Anita Derby. Extremely impressive race. Rosario jumps on him. That speaks volumes. The Rosario wants to ride this horse. Sadler's a great trainer. This is a very good horse, obviously. The only horse in the race to get 100 Beyer. So this is an obvious contender. Obvious contender. Bred by Candy Ride. Mile and quarter should be no problem. If you look at the last race, was drawing away, going a mile and an eighth. Had a good, just the horse ran very well. The horse has never done anything wrong. Another undefeated horse. Obvious contender, right? But this horse kind of scares me because, you know, this horse has never even been outside the whip rule, right? There's going to be a lot of different factors. Huge crowd, loud crowd, away from California. Um, you know, might go too fast early. There's a lot of negatives. There's a few negatives on this horse. The lightly raced, I think that's a negative, only running 3 times. My opinion, that's a negative. So there's a few negatives, and that might make this horse. I mean, like I said, if Rock Your World wins by 5 lengths, I won't be surprised. But if he doesn't even hit the board, I wouldn't be surprised. He's kind of like that X Factor horse. I would like to see. I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to watch the paddock and the pre-race festivities, and I want to see Rock Your World's demeanor. I want to see what he's doing. I really do. I think that's going to be a major. So Rock Your World's obviously a major contender. Central Quality is a major contender. We'll go over one more horse, Superstock, who I think is a contender. I would not be shocked if this horse won. This is one of those 30-1 shots that I actually think has a slight small chance of winning. I wouldn't mind having a future on this horse at 40-1 or 50-1. I was very impressed with the Arkansas Derby performance, passing Cattle River and Concert Tour like they were standing still. Very impressive. Prior to that, ran poorly in the Rebel. Obviously, something to miss was there. Ran second in the Street Sense. Ran against Essential Quality, ran against Midnight Bourbon, got beat by both. Probably not good enough to win this race, but I do think, and this is my personal opinion, I think Superstock's improving. See, that's the problem when you got these 3-year-olds. A lot of them, see, that's the thing with Essential Quality. Is Essential Quality improving? Has Essential Quality hit his limit? We don't know. Superstock seems like a horse to me that's improving, and I think he's got a chance to win. A small chance. A small chance. I'll probably, if I see 35-1, 40-1, I'll have to put $2 to get back 80 or whatever, just to offset my other bets. So that's my thought on that. So I think we went over every horse. I know, real quick, let's see if there's any more messages. King Fury for the win. Oh yeah, set a track record too at Louisiana Derby. Yeah, Matthew, I'm telling you, man, that was a good race. Hugo says no, he's not. Um, I guess he's talking about Mike Smith. 3 start off the layoff. Zenyatta, even Cigar lost. That's true. Medina Spirit is getting the lead. I think Medina Spirit and Midnight Bourbon will be on the lead, and Rock Your World will be there too. Um, Brian Lawrence wants to know who my long shot pick is. My long shot pick, it really is Soup and Sandwich. I got him at 40-1. I think he could win. I think my long shot pick for trifectas and superfectas is Keep Me in Mind. 50-1 on the morning line. Look at those races, grade 1 races. He passed tired horses. You're going to have some tired horses in the Derby. And I think Keep Me in Mind is going to pass those tired horses and possibly get into third or fourth at 50-1. Make my trifecta pay, 1,200 instead of 650. You know what I want. Um, I know. Let's see. Superstock had a perfect setup. Yeah, he did have a perfect setup, but I do think I was impressed visually by what I saw, Yvonne, and I think the horse could be on the improve. Asmussen is he's high on that horse. I've heard he's very high on that horse. So Mr. Enriquez wanted to look. Let's go over the races real quick. We'll go over them quickly, okay, and then we'll end this video because my throat is probably going to be scratched talking nonstop for an hour and a half. I can't believe I'm doing this. Gamine is going to win by probably 7 lengths in the 7th race, 7 furlongs. I saw Gamine last time I was present at the track. The last time she ran, she's a special filly. I'm not lying. I've been around horses my whole life. I visually know their quirks, and I think Gamine is an extremely intelligent filly. She poses for pictures. Baffert said it's the best filly he's ever had sprinting. This horse is absolute freak of nature and will win this race by at least 7 lengths. That's all we need to talk about that race, in my opinion. I mean, there's nothing else to talk about. Key and move on. And Bell's the one who's probably going to run second in there. I think it's going to be a 4-3 exacta, maybe 4-2. I think you go 4-2, 4-3, you'll probably hit that exacta. Race 8, you got Jackie's Warrior who's been quitting. You see Jackie's Warrior been quitting, going a mile and a 16th. Maybe a mile against this kind of competition is what it needs. Because it sure couldn't beat Essential Quality, Keep That in Mind, Hot Rod Charlie. That's why Jackie's Warrior's not running in the Derby. Anyway, if Jackie's Warrior was running in the Derby, I'd bet Jackie's Warrior would probably run dead last because that horse would be tired the last 8th mile. Defunded is an interesting horse. Let me say Baffert. He put him in that race. Um, he's improved. He put him in the Santa Anita Derby, Baffert. And he went 4 or 5 wide, had no response. I think this horse is a little better than that. I think Defunded might be a really good one of Baffert's. Watch this horse. I would watch the tote. I mean, if he's up there at 10-1, probably not. But look at the odds. Look at the exotic payouts and stuff. And if Defunded is kind of low, I think he's got a big chance of winning. Prevalence is a horse that I know a lot of people like. Um, it's one of the contenders. I mean, this race is going to be, in my opinion, you got to go 3-4 deep in this race. You got the 8 horse Dream Shake, who looked like a freak of nature in his maiden race, and then he disappointed the last 2 times. You got Noble Reflection, who I know Richard Baltus was high on after winning the Oaklawn race real easy, handily, 109-2, under a snug hold in a maiden race. Then he ran against in the Lexington in the slop, and um, ran awful. But if you could throw that race out and you believe in this horse, number reflection could give you some value, in my opinion. So there's a long shot I like, bred by Liam's Map too, who's a very good sire. I've been talking up Liam's Map a lot. So I think the 11's my long shot. The 8, the 6, the 5, the 4, the 3, all are contenders. I don't think the 2 or the 1 is a contender in here. So that's my thoughts on that race. Race 9, the American Turf. So glad it's going to be on the turf. I was afraid with all this rain, but it's all good now. Um, in this race, this is a very contentious race. The favorite in here is going to be what, like 4-1, maybe? I mean, they got the 4 as the favorite. I'm not too sure Annex is going to be 7-2. I mean, like I said, it's an undefeated horse, obvious contender. Won a couple of races, 3 close calls in each race. So, and it goes from Junior Alvarado to IRAD, which is never a downgrade. But and then you got the 5 horse Baffert's horse who broke its maiden against nothing. I'm going to be honest. This horse didn't beat anything in its 2 races, in my humble opinion. Um, I think this horse is going to be maybe overbet. Baffert's overbet usually. Maybe you want to include in trifectas and exotic pick 4s if you want to just add them on a B ticket or something. But I don't. I think this horse is stepping up in class too much. De jour. Um, let's see, the 2 horse Todd Fletcher and the stretcher ran a very fast race last time. Went wire to wire. I'm not too sure how good that field was prior to that. Broke a maiden. Um, I don't know if this horse is good enough. You got the 1 horse who is only ran against New York breds. Goodbye. Then you got the 6 horse Royal Prince, who did some damage at Sam Houston and Fairgrounds. I don't know. Has Brad Cox. Obviously didn't beat nothing last time if he was 1-5. So, I mean, like I said, this is a very contentious race. A long shot could win this race. A horse I put down could definitely win this race. You got Next with Wesley Ward, who looked like a good one. 2 back, 20-1 morning line. I don't think that's going to happen. You got Hall of Fame Mike Smith on number 11, who just broke its maiden. You got a lot of horses who just broke their maiden in this race. Um, I got to say, if I'm doing exotics, I'm going to go real deep in this race. I don't see a lot of horses that are standouts in here. This might be a race you might have to go 6-7 deep, or you just go all. I will probably go all in a pick 3. What I'm likely going to do is I'm going to key Gamine, use a few horses in the 8th race, and go all in the 9th, hoping a long shot wins. That's my thoughts because I think it's a very contentious race. But in pick 6s and pick 5s and so forth, where you might have to limit how many horses you use, I'm going to go probably 4 or 5 deep, and I'm not going to be that confident getting past this race. I will. Hopefully, there might be a scratch or 2 in there that could help. Then we got the Churchill Downs 7 furlong race. Mind Control. Look at Mind Control. I've always liked this horse. You know why? This horse picks up a check every time almost. Look at that, 1.1 million. Basin. You guys remember I hit that cold deck exacta with Charlatan last year in May? Because remember the Arkansas Derby was the first Saturday in May last year. I remember I hit that exacta really good. That was one of my good scores. I loved it because I knew Charlatan would win, and Basin was a horse I really liked. So Flagstaff's one of the major contenders in here, obvious contender. Um, let's see who. Remember, I didn't look deeply into these races. Whitmore running away from Churchill Downs and running away from CZ Rocket because CZ Rocket's beat him the last 2 times. And Whitmore made a huge move last time, like he was going to win, and then CZ Rocket just blasted by him like he was standing still. Starting to wonder if Whitmore's lost a little ability. I'm kind of thinking he has. He will be overbet no matter what. Probably needs to be used though in all your pick fours and pick threes because he's the most uh, accomplished horse in the race. I mean, he's won $4 million, but he's not running at his favorite track, and he'll probably be overbet. So that's my thoughts on that. I was thinking this Hog Creek Hustle could be a long shot for the trifecta. He's, I mean, pretty good horse. 5 to 6 at Churchill Downs. This horse does its best work at Churchill Downs if you look at it. Horse for course, likes the distance. Nice cozy post. Lannery's hungry. Second race off a layoff. Didn't run that well. I think he'll improve. So I think the 11's a good long shot. I think, let's see, who else did I like? Oh, I think the 5 could be an interesting horse in here as well. Sometimes these tappet horses take a while, and now and sometimes these horses improve from 3 to 4. So I think the 5, if he improves any more from last year to this year, he could be a major contender. So I think this race is pretty much set. I think the winner is going to be between 4, 5, 9, and 11. But I might add somebody else in the race too. I don't think 12 and 13 are probably going to win, but you never know. And then you have the Turf Classic, and this is going to be the last race that we go over. Master of Foxhounds. My friend Richie Baltus trains this horse, and it's a very nice horse. Ran against United last time. Was no match, but is a really nice horse. Third race off a mild layoff. You know, could show a. I'm not sure he'll win, but I think he could be in the trifecta. Colonel Liam, bred by St. Liam, major contender, grade 1 winner, grade 2 winner, winner of 3 straight, 5 of 7, Todd Fletcher, IRAD. Do I need to say more? 1.2 million purchase. There's nothing more to say. This is an obvious contender. Ivar, I was wondering if this horse could win. Ivar. Will Ivar like going a mile and an eighth? That's the question. If that extra eighth of a mile is to his liking, then I wonder if Ivar could win this race. You got domestic spending with Pratt. Irad, I'm a little concerned that Irad rode the other horse and not this horse. I don't know. Sometimes that doesn't mean anything. But this is a really nice horse too, from the Chad Brown barn. You got Smooth Like Straight, another horse who never runs a bad race. Multiple grade 2 winner, right there in grade 1s. Rispoli, arguably the best turf jockey. Cross Border, I think Cross Border is a good long shot possibility. Could win this race. Maybe not win, but exactas and trifectas for sure. Ride Your Comet or Ride a Comet is another contender in here. Not very happy with the 9 post, but it probably won't be a problem. Not sure if he's good enough, but he does have a good, grade 2, and he has grade 2 wins on his resume, and he usually runs a good race. So this is another contentious race, even though I'll probably end up going 3, 4, 5, maybe even the 6 could win this race. I'm going to have to look at this race a little deeper. This race I didn't spend a lot of time on, but from a preliminary standpoint, I think the 8's a good long shot, and I think you could go 3 or 4 deep to get the winner of this race. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I had a lot of fun doing it. Hour and 24 minutes. And I want to say goodnight to everybody. Thank you.